Welcome to week 8, the stuff of reflection, and this has proved to be a very personal week, just the same as last week. I just want to start with a quote. Bear with me as it's going to be a bit of a long one. Situations call forth images from our narratives of experience, and these images are available to us as guides to future action. An image reaches into the past, gathering up experiential threads meaningfully connected to the present, and it reaches intentionally into the future and creates new, meaningfully connected threads as situations are experienced and new situations anticipated from the perspective of the image. Thus, images are part of our past, called forth by situations in which we act in the present, and are guides to our future. Images, as they are embedded in us, entail emotion, morality, and aesthetics. Connolly and Cladlin, 1988, page 60. So I just decided to answer some of the questions that were both in the text and some of the prompts that Catherine also put for us as well. So the first one was, what metaphor would you use to describe your own approach to teaching? Can you think of specific examples of how your teaching reflects this metaphor? And so the very first one that I thought of was the image of like a watering can, and that idea that you don't just kind of water your plants once and hope they'll grow. You have to continue to water them every single day. And we also know that some plants require more watering than others. And that kind of just reminds me of my students as well. They don't all require the same, but what they do require is that love as I just keep on showering down on them, both the academics as well as just the character training and just giving them a love for learning and a love for life as well. So the watering can really stood out for me, and I hope that actually reflects who I am as a teacher. One other sort of, you can't really call it an image, but one other thing that really helps me in my teaching is if I come across like a problem or a child in my class and I know I have to talk to their parents, I try and think about what sort of approach would I want the teacher to take if instead of me being the teacher and the parent coming to me, it was actually my nephew or my son or my godson. And I just try and put on that other hat. So not just being a teacher, but also being the carer for that particular child. And that really helps me. I'm going to share one other example. I remember this it was a terrible day, but it was way back in Northern Ireland. I think it was the first year that I had actually graduated as a teacher. And I was so frustrated with the class, and I was so grumpy, and I didn't recognize myself, and I probably was pretty horrid to those kids. And it got to lunchtime and I literally put my head down on the desk. I just probably roared something at them and threatened to take away their break, but actually it was probably me who needed the break more than they did. Well, maybe they needed it from me too, actually. But I literally remember being there and being so frustrated and wondering if I'd chosen the wrong career and everything like that. And I just stopped and I prayed, and I just remember getting this image of, imagine if every single one of your children's parents were standing at the back of the classroom. How would you teach them? Anyways, I'm sure the children were quite shocked and relieved to come back to a very, very different teacher than the one that they'd left before lunchtime. And every so often, I just am reminded to think of that again. You know, imagine the parents were standing at the back of the classroom. Would I be saying what I'm saying? Would I be doing what I'm doing? And I sometimes challenge myself. I've never felt as frustrated as I did way back then, and I love my job. But it's always a good reminder